welcome back to another CSR2 video. I am here with the Prestige Cup for this season with the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera Volante. Basically, Prestige Cup is here to give you extra crew RP, right? So if you're part of a milestone crew, you want to do the Prestige Cup mainly because it gives you those quick points. Outside of that, this cup gives you some resources, nothing really to make or break your game. So the reality of doing this cup is if you have the car, it's built enough, and you have the parts, it's worth it to go through this to get those extra points. But if you're going to burn up your cash and all your fusions to build a relatively unimpressive car just to get through and still struggle the whole time, that time and frustration and everything else isn't really worth the points that you're getting. Yes, you're getting about 300k points, but 300k points, while it sounds very impressive, you can get those points from playing in live, swapping, and the whole time you'll be making money and doing other things, and building up keys at the same time. So there's nothing wrong with just playing live racing, or even if you're somebody who likes showdown, grinding some showdown, you can get a lot of RP as well. So RP is the main goal of the Prestige Cup. Extra, what I would almost consider to be, quote, free RP, but nothing's free in this game in that sense. But you spend a little time, you get the car, you get it. If you're newer and you have to struggle to get through the Prestige Cup, generally my advice is try to get the car and maybe skip the Prestige Cup or do very little, whatever amounts you can do based on a mild build, just to kind of earn some of the resources from it and let the rest go. It's not worth it to fight your way to the last 10 races only to get stuck, because the big and really useful gain in crew points comes at the very end. You have to get to race 30 to get that. Anything before that, really, yes, you do get about 120,000 by the time you get to race 25, but that 180k at the end, that's the big boy there. Now, the alternative too is get what you can out of it and then stop and then focus on live racing. The bottom line is, don't bang your head against the wall and burn up everything you have just to make it through a Prestige Cup. It's not worth it. A lot of times the Prestige Cup car is also not really that great, although recently we had some good examples. This one here really is nothing to write home about. Someone asked me to do a review on it. I've looked at it. I've kind of played around with the upgrades. I don't think this car has a lot of viability, anything outside of this Prestige Cup, and maybe a showdown in the future where it's used. But really, it's not that useful a car, and you're not going to do much with it. I'm on the last 10 races. I didn't show you the ones before because if you can't make it that far, you're probably going to have to let this thing go anyway. But if you got to this point, you're probably wondering, well, how far can I go? The reality is, this, much like most Prestige Cups, if you have up to stage 5 in full fusion, you probably can make it to the race, which is 28, to get that stage 6. Because that's all it requires for you to get there. A stage 5 only car full fusion for this car is about a 9.6 car. And as you can see, up to this point on race 26 out of 28, or 25 out of 28 so far that I'm trying to get to, the opponents are over 10. So they're not that quick yet. They're going to jump right near race 28. So the real tough races for any Prestige Cup, it's going to be race 28, 29, 30. Up to that point, if you have fusions, you can make it, or if you have less fusions, but you have all the stage 6s, you'll definitely make it. I did this Prestige Cup on my other account with stage 6s, but no epic fusions for the most part. I mean, I did add some epic fusions, but skipping a lot of epic fusions. And the car was 8.4 or something like that, and it had no problem getting through. So it depends on what you have access to. The DBS was used as a prior car. There's a regular DBS that shares stage 6 with this. So I came into this with 4 stage 6s on each account, and then it's a matter of whether I wanted to burn a few bronze keys to get the rest, just to get through the thing. I think for the other account, it was really kind of a waste to even get the rest of stage 6s. I didn't really need them, but it did help to get there. Now, Two of the strong stage 6s here would be transmission is one of them. Nitrous is pretty useful. Those two alone brought me from 9.6 to about almost 8.7. So you went from your 9.6 time, which is your stage 5 only, to an 8.7. That's about a second drop. It's usually enough to get you through Prestige Cup that way. The transmission alone dropped it from 9.4 to 9.2. Now, body probably could do better, but unfortunately I don't have body on here, so unless I get it in this race, in which case it'll be worthwhile to look at it later to see what it does. But body probably is going to be a strong one. Nitrous is helpful because nitrous dropped it from 9.2 to 8.7, which actually dropped more time than transmission. So nitrous is definitely a useful stage 6 here. Again, as you can see, 8s will be no problem for you to get through. If you can get under 9.0, you're basically fine for this entire event. Here it is, 9.764 for this opponent, which is race 28, and I got another transmission, so it's useless. But 9.7, you can hit 9.6s, low 9.6s, full fusion, stage 5 only. So 9.7 isn't that bad, but the next two races will jump from 9.7 to something faster and then something faster again. That's where you need those stage 6s to get through. As usual, turbo, intake, engine, probably not as strong. I'm not so sure about tire, which may be decent, but it's always luck of the draw with stage 6s. It's always about having the fusions. So if you don't have the fusions, you don't have the stage 6s, you're not going to make it to the end. The car cannot be tuned around parts. This is something people don't seem to understand sometimes. No matter how great a tune I can somehow come up with, it's still relying on the fact that you actually have fusions and parts. Okay, a stage 6, complete stage 6 out car with no fusions still won't be very fast, and a car that has full fusions but only upgraded to stage 3 will not be fast enough. So you got to kind of have both. Now, if you're missing both in some sense, a combination thereof can still get you through, but then it's very hard for us to tell you what would work and what would not, because obviously each fusion has different impact, each stage 6 has different impact. The combinations of those fusions and those stage 6s have an impact. So that's why Prestige Cup, like any cup, is a combination of having the parts, having the fusions, having the tune. But the tune comes after having the parts and have the fusions. So there it is. That's the 180K that everybody's looking for. So naturally, that helps a lot with pushing your crew through to the milestone. This is why all the milestone crews would want you to run this with stage 6s. Run this cup and get through to get that 300K. But again, live racing and other ways can do it as well. So that's it. That's the last 10 races. It looks like 9.0 range is what you're looking at for the final time. Good luck with the Prestige Cup. Any questions about the car or the Prestige Cup, feel free to ask me in the comments. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you like my channel and would like notifications when I put up new videos, subscribe, hit the bell, and you get those notifications. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.